Hey guys, Sin down here. This is going to be my chapter review to One Piece 966, Roger and Whitebeard. Now, couple things to begin with. First, shout out to the Titans and everybody from Tennessee. That was a good game last night between the Saints and the Titans. Unlucky that, we got rid of that deficit. It just happens sometimes, I was impressed by Michael Thomas as per usual, but that's a discussion for another time. Second thing, I read this initially, this chapter 966 on Manga Plus, and oh my god, Manga Plus, the user experience on Manga Plus is absolute turd. It's such a shit experience. The website, it's almost as if it's been designed by complete noobs. Now, I've never designed a website. I've never been a part of that type of stuff. But I guarantee you, give me a team of people, give me a dev, I would be the analyst, give me some sort of manager or something. We don't even need that. We just need a dev, dude. And myself trying to find out the requirements of the website. Bruh, that website, within a month, within probably 2 weeks to be realistic, but if we're pushing it a month, I could make that website 100 times better than what it is. The double pages on the website, so I think I was reading... it might have even been One Piece actually. There's a double page spread somewhere, which is split in two. You can't see the entire double page spread. You get half a page, and I think it's when Odin gets hit by Roger actually. And the issue with that is that the page is designed. The double spread was designed so that you read along the top of both pages first, and then the bottom half of the pages are the double spread. So I was like, bitch, like who designed this? Someone who has no idea of how manga works or how it's read, designed this. And then when you go to because I don't read vertically, I read horizontally. That's my preference. I click each page, and I'm given one page at a time. I don't scroll down as I'm reading. That's just how I am. But you do that on Manga Plus, and it shrinks down the page to fit into like one tiny bubble, and one tiny area. I think I'm not even sure what you'd call it. And it's just horrible. It's such a horrible experience. You can't full screen, so I can't F11. I'm not sure what Mac users do, but I'm not about that life. But you can't full screen on it, so I got to see all my tabs and my bookmarks and shit like that. And I'm just like, oh, these guys really have not thought about it. When you consider why people read on these illegal websites or on sites like MangaStream, where they would put it up for a few days or a week. Actually, they'd put it up like 5 chapters. A backlog of like 5 chapters, and then they take them down. But when you wonder why Shueisha people go and read from there, it's because, for instance, actually this is another point, their scans are much clearer than yours. So if someone wants to, like, this is just a rant now about Shueisha, but their scans are much clearer than yours by far. Your scans on One Piece especially, but also on My Hero, actually I was reading that too. Horrible scans, dude. Like, you guys are responsible for these releases, right? How do you have such turd scans compared to all these other websites that upload chapters and stuff like that? I won't name which ones. Are absolutely horrible scans. The translations I was actually okay with, and then the whole user experience thing, like I was mentioning, just a terrible experience I've had so far with Manga Plus, and I'm not enjoying it. It's not something that I'm a big fan of. But having said all that, and having been disappointed by all that, let's get right into the chapter. So the first thing we see is Chiffon. On the website that I'm using, Chiffon is caught by pirates while getting a haircut, but the official translation and the obvious translation is she got caught by the Navy. She got caught by the Marines. Considering they're wearing Marine outfits, they have Marine tattoos, it's pretty obvious they're the Marines. So then we get into the actual chapter, and we see Roger and everyone, and what Odin does is he does his normal thing. He darts straight towards Roger, and he's like, all I have to do is take their treasure, right? And his crewmates are behind him shouting, yo, dude, like, this is the Roger pirates. They're not going to just bend to your will. These guys are different from everyone else we fought before. So he does his two-sword style, Nitoryu Odin Gan Modoki, which is written in kanji as Weapon of the Hesitant Demon. Sounds badass. That's such a cool name. But in hiragana, it's Gan Modoki means a type of fried tofu. So thank you to whoever translated that. I'm actually not sure who translated it this time. So you can see his swords are clad in Busto Shoku no Haki. He's gone through a couple of these guys on Roger's crew, and they're like, oh my god, the rumors are true, he's incredibly strong. Then we see Scappa Gaban and Rayleigh Scalpa had no idea, like some of you guys might have known, but he wields dual axes, dual wield axes. They're not dual bladed. And he's just there looking awesome as shit right next to Rayleigh, who wields a sword. We knew that, a straight sword, as opposed to, I think Roger has more of a cutlass. Does he? No, I think Roger has a katana as well. Okay, but yeah, so Rayleigh and him are getting ready. I didn't know about the two axes, the dual axes, and here we see how much like Luffy Roger is, or how much like Roger Luffy is, in the sense that Roger just runs past Gaban, and he runs past Rayleigh, and he's like, "Oh, I wouldn't want my two best men to get hurt," as he's running towards Odin, eager for a fight, having sensed and heard about this guy. So Odin sees Roger, and he's like, "Oh shit, it's the aura of a wild beast. I can feel that this guy is intense. I can feel his vibe, and I can feel how strong this guy is." So Roger straight away runs in. He's like, "Hey, samurai," and he attacks with a move called Kamusari, another move which sounds awesome, a version to divinity, and he absolutely decks. He decks Odin, and Odin. This is a double spread once again. This was actually very heavily ruined by Manga Plus. I'ma call you out. This is heavily ruined by Manga Plus. Like I was reading through this. I'm not sure if there's a double page feature. Maybe there's something I'm missing out on, seeing as I'm a noob to the usage of Manga Plus. But from what I could tell, there was no way to meld or merge two pages together. This was split in two, and you get to see half of what Whitebeard's doing, and then half of, well, not even half really, because it's not really a double spread, but you get to see a little bit of Roger's attack as well. So I was very disappointed by that. But Odin, bleeding from his mouth, gets sent flying into a tree, ages away from where Roger is, and he gets back up. Once again, credit to Odin's durability. The guy just gets back up, and he's like, "Holy shit, what the heck was that?" And he runs straight back towards where Roger was, trying to find out what the hell just happened to him. Then you see the clash of the two kings. You see this Buso Shoku no Haki. It's such a weird thing. It looks almost like, what is this from? It's from another manga, actually, where you see like their swords and stuff with this darkness kind of coming off of it. I don't think it's Taizai, but that's what you have. The Buso Shoku no Haki is kind of leaking in this kind of cloud-like, electricity-like formation off of their weapons, and then they both clash, Whitebeard and Roger, and it looks awesome. And what we've never seen before, I don't think, is that their weapons don't even touch. I'm not sure how this happens. Maybe their Buso Shoku no Haki and their Hao Shoku no Haki kind of, they're so powerful that it forms kind of like a sandwich layer in between their two weapons, and they just kind of stop in between. They've clashed, but their weapons aren't even touching, and they're blowing people away and shit like that. The sky's being blown apart, everything like that. You see the Moby Dick basically being blown away almost. And this is where Whitebeard and Roger have a little bit of a talk. It's like, "You look good, Roger," and he's like, how many years has it been, Newgate? It's a weird thing for Whitebeard to say, "You look good, Roger." You know, it's almost as if he knows about Roger's illness. I'm not sure. I don't think Roger's the type of guy to tell Whitebeard about, you know, his illness. "I'm about to die in a year," because then Whitebeard would feel bad, being the type of guy he is, you know, to attack his rival knowing that he's dying, you know. So they both say the same thing to each other, which is, "Give me everything you have." So they're still gonna loot the shit out of each other. They're still ready to fight. They're just being very very gentlemanly about it. So the two crews then go and fight 3 days 3 nights, I think it was. And then what happens is 4 days later, they just kind of they stop the fighting, and they just start exchanging gifts and stuff like that. So rather than looting each other, they just start exchanging shit. So you see people like, "Oh yeah, this southern sake is good. I'll give you 3 crates of food for that," or some shit. And Raleigh's just in the back like, "Yo, how did this happen? We were kicking the shit out of each other a few minutes ago, and now we're exchanging gifts. What the hell's going on?" And this is actually where we get quite a major reveal, in my opinion, because I haven't read anything about it. Maybe I should have done that before the chapter review. But we see Blackbeard here. We see Teach. He's looking over at Shanks and Buggy, and he's like, "Yo, those 2 boys over there." He's talking to Marco and Jozu. He's like, "Who are they? Are they apprentices?" Marco knows about them. He's like, "Yeah, they've been there for a while. They don't look very strong. Attitudes are impressive." And then Buggy does the same thing about Blackbeard. He's like, yo Shanks, you see that guy over there? Apparently during the truce we had for the last few days, so like yesterday and the day before, and the ceasefire that we had, that guy didn't sleep a wink during those days. And Shanks is like, "The heck, why?" And then Buggy's like, "I heard he's never slept in his life." Blackbeard doesn't sleep. I'm not sure if this is something that's changed since he was a kid, I'm assuming, well, presuming really that it hasn't. He still hasn't slept. Maybe this is some sort of trauma he's experienced as a child. Maybe he witnessed the murder of his parents or something like that. Everyone's theorizing that Kubek D. Zebek, was that his name? Zebek? Yeah, it was something D. Zebek. Yeah, you know who I'm talking about. The captain of the Rocks Pirates. Maybe he was his parent. He was his father. But whatever it is, whatever the reason is, Teach hasn't slept a wink in his life. And Shanks is obviously, from a very innocent perspective, he's like, yo, this guy must be having fun day and night. This guy doesn't even have to sleep. And Buggy realizes, he's like, it's not that simple, you jackass. This is a monster. This guy does not sleep. That's crazy. So I'm wondering what the implications are for that, where we are in the story. What has Blackbeard gained as a result of that? Does that just simply mean that he's awake, he's nocturnal, so... Well, he's not even nocturnal, he's just awake all of the time. Does that simply mean that he goes to whoever he wants to attack or whenever he wants, even in the dead of night? Does that mean so crews can't come and attack him during the night because he's awake? Or does that mean he doesn't recover as well because he doesn't get sleep, so he doesn't get to sleep off his injuries and stuff like that? I doubt any of that will really come into play, but there has to be something. Oda would have given us that bit of information for some reason, right? So then we come to the main part of the chapter, which is Roger finding out that Kozuki Odin can read the poneglyphs, and he's like, yeah, I can translate it for you, but why did you transcribe this? So he's talking about the poneglyph that Roger had. Well, I think he might be talking about the 4 red poneglyphs that Roger must have transcribed, the road poneglyphs. And he then tells Roger, he's like, these symbols are a secret code. The way to decode them has been passed from generation to generation to the firstborn of the Kozuki clan from Wano. We already know all this, apart from maybe the firstborn part. Roger explains, 13 years ago, we were able to do what nobody else had done. We'd gone to what we thought was the last island on the Grand Line, the island Roadstar. I think it was also translated as Lodestar. But when they got there, they realized it wasn't the last island, and their log post wouldn't take them any further. So Roger believes there's one final island. I'm not sure how he actually knows that. But he says this island that he needs to reach to travel the whole world, it's a feat that's never been done before. And he then talks about, the purpose of the road poneglyphs. It's the inscriptions marked on those 4 red stones. They should be clues to the final island. That's his idea. But he says the world government banned the deciphering of the poneglyphs long ago. He used to think they were just simply ordinary objects, but he was surprised when they discovered that they were reference points for achieving his goal, which is to reach the end of the Grand Line. So then he puts 2 and 2 together. He's like, the world government doesn't want us to reach the final island. These poneglyphs seem to point towards this island. There must be some huge treasure or some shit on this island, and if my crew get there, we'll be known as the biggest and the best pirate crew in the world. And then he says something to Whitebeard and Odin. He says something like, that's right, and then I'll be. So basically saying, once I've hit this island, once I've reached this island, then I'll be. And then we get we pan away from Roger, and then we go back to Whitebeard and Odin, and they're just both like, what? And then Whitebeard's laughing his ass off, calling Roger a kid. Roger's laughing, and Odin's just there, stunned, like, what the heck is this guy said? And I'm just like, yeah, what the fuck? What did he say? Let me know what he said, because I know what he said. So Odin here, he's just like, this guy's left me speechless twice today. Once when he got his ass kicked, and the other just now. So what Roger does here is he essentially says to Whitebeard, and he says to Odin, he's like, look, this guy can decipher the poneglyphs. That's a major key to where I want to get to. And a major key to me achieving the goals that I want to do in the next year. I don't think, once again, but he does say here, this is my last request to Whitebeard. So maybe Whitebeard is actually aware of the fact that Roger is dying. But he says to Whitebeard, he's like, with Odin by my side, I can get to the final island. And Odin at first seems against the idea, but then you see Roger going straight down, prostrating, like, yo, please, I beg you, join my crew. Gaban and everyone, they're going apeshit, like, what the heck, these guys are our enemies, like, why are you bowing to them? Odin's like very, very taken aback. He's like, dude, you should not be bowing to me. You kicked the shit out of me just a few seconds ago. No bowing. Whitebeard gets pissed. You see the waters around the island start to split and form these concentric circles. And I was like, yo, shit, man. Whitebeard in his prime was awesome. Like, I would have loved to have seen more of his adventures and more of Roger's adventures. No doubt we'll somehow get more of that in the future. Maybe Oda, once he's done One Piece, if he even releases like a monthly kind of thing where we just go on the adventures of Rogers and Whitebeard. Or Roger and Whitebeard. We get to see more of that. That would be awesome. Get to see Garp, Sengoku. Everyone wants it. I've seen loads of people requesting stuff like that, but I'm not too sure whether it'll happen, and I really want to know more about it. So obviously Whitebeard is pissed because he's like, you're not just gonna take a member of my family. Like I don't want you. Even if you're begging, I'm not gonna give you my brother essentially to take with you on your crew to go do shit that you want to do. He's my brother, you know. So you see Odin here in his monologue state. He's like, I could feel my blood pumping even though I tried to hide it. What do these stones have to do with the Kozuki clan? So this is kind of what Odin's been looking for. What is the larger, how are we involved in the larger world? How did the Kozuki clan tie in with the poneglyphs? What happened in the Void Century? All that type of stuff. He didn't know that he needed these answers, these questions answered. But now that Rogers brought it to him, he's just like, yo, shit, was this meeting a coincidence? Maybe this is what I actually should be doing. So he turns around to Whitebeard. He's like, and he says to him, before I could even think straight, I had my answer. And he says to Whitebeard, I want to go with Roger. Whitebeard is obviously pissed off because he's like, yo, you're meant to be my brother. What the hell's going on? Why do you want to go with my rival? So somehow, some way, they talk through it. And Odin is given kind of maybe Whitebeard's blessing to go. He wasn't really ever tied down. There's no contract in the pirate world, right? But he leaves his post of Division 2 commander. And you see that actually Izo stays with Mako. Is it Izo or Izu? I think it's Izo. And they kind of lead the Division 2, I think it is. So Odin's like, you're free to choose whatever you want to do. Whitebeard's pissed off. He's told by his crewmates that they were given a whole bunch of treasure and all like the food on Roger's ship as a thanks for giving Odin over. And Whitebeard gets pissed off again. He's like, yo, give those supplies back right now, especially the food. Do you want Odin's new family to die of starvation? I thought that was pretty cool. You know, Whitebeard, as pissed off as he is, he's an honorable man. So then we begin this new chapter, and I'm wondering, I'm hoping in the next few chapters we get to see more of their adventures, Roger and Odin and everybody on the crew, on the Roger Pirates. We get to see more of their adventures properly, rather than just kind of snippets that we saw in this chapter. So, yeah, you see Odin here talking about how, you know, Whitebeard's a great man, but Roger is incomparable. He's different. There's something about him which is unique. So they go on their adventures. You see here actually that Toki, Momonosuke, and Hiyori actually boarded the ship with them. That's the one major question I had last chapter. If he does defect, kind of, if he moves over to Roger's crew, what's he going to do with his kids and his wife? They came over with him. What I don't like here is how Toki's kind of being made to be some sort of side character. You know, develop her a little bit more as well. Don't just, I'm hoping Oda does this. I'm hoping she doesn't just become sort of a side character that's attached to Odin. You know, she should be a character in and of her own right. And, you know, the kids, they don't really need too much development here, considering we're getting development in the future. So Roger is like, it's been a while since I last held a baby. At this point, did he? Yeah, so he must be talking about Ace, right? He must have had Ace at this point in time. Rayleigh says it reminds him of his childhood, all that good stuff. We find out Inuarashi and Nekomamushi are on the crew as well. They've boarded the stowaways. And we see here that the Roger Pirates, even Shanks and Buggy, but Gaban and everyone else, they're looking at Odin and they're very, very kind of, they don't want to, they're not very inclusive to begin with. They're like, you're only here because we need your knowledge. The captain needs your knowledge. We won't accept you as fast as he did. So then they go to this port where apparently it's some sort of lawless land. And Odin just goes and like grabs a whole bunch of ingredients. He gets like radishes, eggs, all that type of stuff. And he literally cooks like a giant hot pot, like a giant Odin kind of thing. And as soon as he does that, he's won over everyone on the crew. Shanks and everyone, they're singing his name. Roger's hugging him and stuff like that. Everyone loves him. And he's like, let's make a toast to our time with Odin and all that good stuff. And then very quickly we get this, like, moving from this party time, very Straw Hat Pirates-ish drinking session kind of thing. We move straight to Crocus saying to Roger, looking over at like some sort of reading, he says, yeah, you've only got about a year to live. Odin shits his pants. He's like, yo, what the heck? A year to live? That it? Roger tells him then the day, yo, this is why I'm in a hurry. This is why I want to achieve my goal within the next year, because I've only got that much time to live. We see them then go on to, I forgot what they're called, you know, those jet streams. And they go to Sky Island. You see Odin shitting his pants. You see Shanks shitting his pants, and Roger just like gleaming with hope and adventure. You know, they're realizing how huge this world is, and he's there talking about, you know, people living in the sky, unbelievable. And I really enjoy seeing how innocent these guys are. You know, like Roger and all that. He's the king of the pirates. He was the king of the pirates and all that. These guys were badasses in every right. But the thing with One Piece that's always brought me joy in reading it is the adventure you find in it. You know, that's part of the main foundations of One Piece. It's the adventure, going to things like Sky Island, finding out about the history behind Sky Island, how it ties into the histories of other nations and stuff like that. It's so good in the sense of a world has been built here. So they find the bell, that giant bell that's made of gold. And the way they find it is actually, Roger says the stone has quite a voice. So it's the voice of all things. That's how he locates it. Luffy wasn't able to do that at the time, but Roger seems to be a lot older here and more in control of like his haki and his abilities than Luffy was at the time. So he says, does she happen to say something about incredibly power? I have no idea what the hell that was supposed to mean. Maybe talking about Poseidon here, but Odin then does actually say this poneglyph here mentions this. It mentions a weapon called Poseidon. So Roger says, write down, I have come here and will lead this passage to the farthest ends of the world. They write that down. We see that inscription. We remember that inscription because I think Robin read it at one point when they were at Sky Island. And then we just get the end of the chapter where our boy Odin's like, I'm going to the end with Roger, the goal for which you risked your life, the final chapter of your great adventure. So like I said, this was an awesome chapter. We got to see more of Roger. I really wanted to see more of a fight between him and Whitebeard. We didn't get much of that. We just saw that clash, even though that clash made me go apeshit. I saw that and I was like, oh my god. But I love seeing, once again, the adventure. I love seeing the history behind all of this. I love seeing how Roger recruited Odin, Toki, and Hiyori and Momonosuke. And once again, we get little tidbits of information, even though it's all the way in the past. We see Blackbeard looking over at people like Shanks, looking over at people like Buggy, remembering who they are, at least identifying who they are, so like they were never unaware of each other. Shanks would have known about Blackbeard would have known about Shanks, and then when he got the scars, we don't know how that happened, but things will have occurred during those years that led up to that thing, led up to that occasion. So I'm hoping to see how he got those scars as well. But the major thing here also is the fact that we find out that Blackbeard doesn't sleep. There has to be something behind that, and I'm hoping maybe you guys know, or maybe we can discuss it in the comments below. So that's my review for this chapter. I enjoyed it. You know, just seeing any bit of history within One Piece, any bit of, you know, we got history and adventure. You know, how much more could we want? Seeing the Roger Pirates going to Sky Island, bro, I'm down for that. Because like, I was never a big fan. I'm going to say it right now. I was never a big fan of Skypiea. I'm not sure why. I loved the kind of the clash with Eneru and stuff like that, but I felt like Skypiea really dragged for me. Maybe that was more along the times that I was watching the anime, so maybe the anime put like because I'm a manga only for almost everything. So maybe that put a bad taste in my mouth and it never really cleared. But let me know what you guys thought of this chapter. Let me know what you guys thought of this review. Like, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff, and I'll see you guys in a bit.